me. I'll edit that out. Alright, so this is the NGK that I put in before the last ride, and it is still oily and burnt out. Bike won't start. What I'm going to do is just grab a bit of steel wool, gently clean up the contacts, and hopefully we get a spark out of it. Alright, so cleaning up the spark plug worked a treat. It's given it a second lease of life. The bike started. I took it for a little run around the block just to warm it up. I've drained the auxiliary tank. There's still a little bit of fuel. Zoom. There we go. In the carby, as you can see there, but that just means it's primed and ready to fire. For the purpose of the test I'm doing, that little bit of fuel won't make any difference whatsoever. So I'm measuring out, I'll fit about 1.5 litres of fuel and oil mix in there. So that's 1/2 litre, so 500 ml of fuel and just over 20 ml of 2-stroke oil. 20:1 ratio calls for 25 ml for 1/2 litre, but seeing as the mixture's been really smoky still and still burning up my spark plugs, using a little bit less oil in this jug is probably a good idea, especially seeing as it only measures to in fractions of 20 ml. Can't even see it on this camera anyway. But if I aim for 20 ml and I accidentally put a few extra drops in, it's not going to make a lick of difference. So it's better to just aim for the lesser amount. So where's my lid? Down here. So bear with me. Alright, so we've given that a good shake, and then I'll do that 2 more times and we'll fill up that tank and I'll see you then. Alright, so that's 1.5 litres measured, plus, you know, the 60 ml of oil I put in. You know what, you might get close to 2 litres in there, but I've chosen to measure out that 1.5 litres just so I've got a consistent measure of how much fuel I've actually used. So what is next is to just give the bike a quick once over, and we'll get geared up, and I'll just go right around in circles until we run out of fuel, and then I'll swap the lines over and we'll ride back on the main tank. Alright, so we're trying something a bit different with the chest cam today. I've left the shockproof case off. I want to try and get a bit of a clearer picture and sound quality, because it's not bad in that, but the quality is really muted. The sound quality, I mean. So it's not looking like rain today. It's a bit cloudy, but we should be fine. I'm going to stick this one in my bag anyway. Down there. This is my little bag of tricks. How's my camera angle looking? There we go. Stick it in my bag of tricks. So, before I do this test, yes. So the plan, of course, is to ride until we run out of fuel, and then we just change the line over from this line to that line. And then when we get back, we have a few extra modifications to perform. So we have successfully reset the trip meter. Alright, let's just make sure our fuel is on. Oh shit! So we're going to kick it old school. Well, I do have to say I've never actually had any fuel leaks using zip ties. Alrighty, so quick pit stop. Yeah, that'll do. It's a bit lower than what I'd like. Now, these are, as I say, things I don't have any control over in this test. Things like mechanical problems and pit stops like this. The reason I think this is important though is it really is a real life test. I thought I took, there we go. Alright, so the purpose in doing this, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but we are just going to wrap a cable tie around the air filter. Normally I carry a piece of elastic around here for this purpose, but cable tie will have the same effect. It should stop. Right, can we see what I'm doing here with my finger? Alright, so the cable ties the choke lever here. It's just jammed around there, but it's just providing a little bit of extra resistance, so you can still move the choke up and down if you need to, but it shouldn't just vibrate up, which is exactly what was happening when the bike was running rough, and exactly as I full throttled it. I've got the sniffles today. So according to our speedometer trip meter, we have done 5.8 kilometres. Oh, look at what we have here. I am pretty sure this is why people hate fenders. We have, in fact, rattled it completely out of its... It is snapped from the vibrations. but as it happens, I have some JB weld at home that will sort that straight out. So rather than risk this any further, next circuit we will take it home, put on the JB weld and head out again. Doing the same circuit is not a critical part of the test, but this is exactly why I didn't want to go far. So if something like this did happen and I needed to do a pit stop that I couldn't do on the road, I would be able to without having to go too far. Alrighty. So how are we looking? We're 14 kilometres in. We've barely touched the fuel yet. So let's have a bit of a close-up on this camera if we can. I have vibrated right the way through the hole. So the plan is just to stick some putty up under there. We should be good to go again. JB weld putty gloves. Now we can see I've done a very rough and ready sort of repair here. I kept on wanting to spring out, so using my cloth tape there, I've just sort of suspended it so to add to the kit. JB weld and some gloves. Alrighty. Nice quiet road for a rest. What we've got here I've got to try and find a replacement little screw to put in there, because today seems the day for everything rattling loose. This is the downside to doing a big 50-kilometre ride and not checking the bike properly. You overlook the guards anyway because you don't even think about them. So and this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and everyone in between, is why we carry cable ties. Now, I do actually have a bag of bolts and nuts and bits and pieces. But come on, that'll keep us going. I don't want to sit here all day doing repairs. This, I have to say about this particular frame, it has proven to be really, really easy to work on. The exception being, of course, putting the sprocket and rag joint on, but everything else has been an absolute piece of cake. No complaints whatsoever. I mean, it takes everything you throw at it. It really just does. Oh. I'm going to apologise if the camera angle's terrible because I'm hunching. It is that cold that I have a tendency to hunch over to try and keep warm. We've just ticked over 22 kilometres, so let's keep pushing on. You can't plan that shit, you really can't. This tree, if you've been following my videos, you'll know that this is a favourite place of mine to stop. We have just hit 30.2 kilometres, so pretty much 30 k's on the nose. Oh my word, it is cold. It doesn't really look like much, but got some cows to narrate to. Whoa, I just had to stop because I am freezing. And with the cold air in my face, well, that's not entirely loose, that's holding up all right. Let's see if we can have a look in our fuel tank. I'll try and get the camera down in there. You can't really see, but we're well over halfway, which actually annoys me because I didn't get economy this good out of the big tank. I did 50 k's and used most of the fuel. And alright, so there you go. Bit of a wibble wobble in there. Maybe the bike's just running better today, or I don't really know, because there's not that much difference in how I'm riding today versus how I was riding the other day when I did the big ride. Which is, it's honestly kind of bugging me now because I just took 52 k's at its word. Actually, do you know what? It mightn't be that at all. I've gotten 30 k's based on the trip meter on the bike. I haven't actually checked the app. No signal? Piss off, there's no signal out here. Of course not. It hasn't been recording me. Oh well. We will be exclusively using the distance on this to gauge our, well, we're just going to have to go by the trip meter. Even if it's wrong, it'll still give us a baseline for the two tests. So we've got 30.213. The bike is playing up a fair bit. No one I know, I don't think. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this spark plug's had it. It was already blackened and looking a bit terrible this morning before we left. However, we have done an impressive distance. According to the bike, we've just hit, well, just under 42 kilometers. 41.9 as a matter of fact. Uh-oh. Both of my spare spark plugs aren't here. I've left them at home. Ah, oh, damn it. Look, at the very least we'll pull it off and have a look at it. Look, it's not actually looking too bad. It's not horribly oily, but well, I'm running out of daylight again. So as we're getting into the late afternoon, I will say I have gotten so much further on this batch of fuel than I ever thought possible. We've done 42 kilometers according to the bike. Now, according to Google, the other day I did 52 kilometers on the big tank. Granted, I didn't even run out, but I burnt through a hell of a lot more fuel, which really, that suggests to me that something pretty major was going on. I must have been leaking fuel out of the carby or something, but every time I checked, I didn't notice anything. I have gone so far on this fuel. It is phenomenal. I was expecting to get half of this distance. Like, it is absolutely crazy how far I've gotten. I mean, the trip meter on the bike might not be that accurate, but even if it's not, I can tell you, I've been going for a couple of hours now, and it is still just, it's still just getting there. It's getting it done. I mean, we are running out slowly, but I reckon we've got a good 10 Ks in us yet. It has just gone 3:30 in the afternoon. We're sitting on 41.9 kilometers according to the bike. We've just changed the battery in the camera. We're gonna hit the road and keep on doing our circuits. This has been going phenomenally well. It's a USB cable.